Hello, Brian King here. There's this quote that I see being used a lot, especially on Facebook, even by people that I deeply respect. But this quote really gets under my skin because it doesn't sound right. And that quote is, everybody's doing the best they can. I don't know how that sits with you, but I've seen it morph into the new try. Well, at least I tried. Well, I gave it a good college try. There always seems to be this aspect of it that allows the other person an excuse for not getting the results they wanted. They'll say, well, everybody's doing the best they could, or I did the best I could. And here's where the problem really comes in. That statement gives them nowhere else to go. I did the best I could. The best didn't get me where I wanted. Guess I'm stuck where I am. That's why I don't like that quote. It doesn't give you any place else to go. Think about, and if you do believe in that quote, think about where you can use that. You can't go to work and say, well, boss, I know this isn't what you asked for. In fact, it's a lot less, but couldn't you cut me some slack? I did the best I could. You're not going to have a job for very long if that's what you expect them to believe. Worst case scenario, I don't belong in jail, Your Honor. After all, I was doing the best I could. That's not going to keep you out of jail. Or in school, we're not going to encourage our kids to say, hey, teacher, I think I deserve an A for doing the best I could. Yeah, it looks like an F because I didn't really answer enough of the questions, but I did my best. Now what? You're going to say, well, why should I have to study for this? I did my best. I'm obviously not good at this. Is it making sense? This is not a helpful phrase. When you look at all the innovations, all the inventions that we have in this world, would we have the light bulb, the airplane, the computer, the smartphone, whatever it is, if the creators hid behind that belief that, well, I guess we're stuck with the status quo because we did the best we could. We just couldn't figure out the airplane or the smartphone or anything else. Oh, well, that's just not a wonderful way to live. But when you think about it, the inventors don't use that. They don't hide behind, we did the best we could. In fact, innovators, inventors, they are leaders that live in perpetual search for better resources. They're not content with the best of the moment. Then I decided to do a simple Google search this morning to see what others had to say about this idea of everyone's doing the best they could. And the first thing I landed on was the fact that everyone's doing the best they could is not the whole statement. People are chopping that quote in half when they're throwing it out there. What the actual statement is everyone's doing the best they can with the resources they have. Now that's something I can work with, because what it tells you is you got the best outcome you could with insufficient resources. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person because you didn't do the very best you wanted. When you use that chopped off revisionist quote, everyone's doing the best they can, you want people to feel nice about themselves. You want to be gentle because that inherently says you don't got what it takes. Well, you did the best you could, but don't take it personally. It doesn't mean you're less. Use the edited version. Want to be real gentle on a person and protect their ego, because that statement makes them seem like they're less than capable of getting more than they got. Stop it. Use the whole quote. Everyone's doing the best they can with the resources they have. So after they get the result they don't want, then they can look at it and say, all right, this wasn't what we were shooting for. How did we end up with less? Well, because we didn't have the resources we need. That's not something you take personally. That's not an indication that you're less than or not smart enough. It's simply a fact. You needed other things that you do not have in your possession. Let's give you some ideas of what resources you can look for. I like to lump them all in three basic categories. Resources are people, places, and things that you need to get the results you want. People, folks who are maybe more savvy in this than you are. They're better at engineering. They're better at coming up with plans. They're better at figuring out the whole step-by-step. Maybe they're stronger than you are and you need to do some heavy lifting. Whatever it is, bringing those people into the mix increases your likelihood of success. Places, well, maybe you need to go indoors someplace and get out of the rain because you need to, let me back up a little bit. Places like Home Depot, Lowe's, where they can cut the boards down to size if you want to build something, because so I go to the person who knows how to cut the wood, I go to the place where I can get it cut, solve that problem, and I can get back to it. Things. Maybe you need something to take pictures with, your smartphone, so you can send them off to your buddy or your brother who's better at this stuff and say, this is what it looks like when I'm broke or when it's broke. How do I fix it? I've done that many times with my brother and my dad, so they didn't have to make the trek out to my house. They can just look at the picture and say, okay, this is what you need. This is where you can find it. Should do the trick. And it does. So I called the person. I used the thing. I got the extra information and knowledge that I needed. And guess what? Doing the best I can with the resources I had just went up a level. Because I realized that I didn't have sufficient resources, I went and got more, and now I got the result. That's how that works. So if you want to keep thinking that you're doing the best you can, and then sit back and feel sorry for yourself while everybody else gets better results than you do, that's why you're having that problem. Because only half the phrase sucks. It's too limiting. It gives you nowhere to go. Use the whole phrase. I'm doing the best I can with the resources I've got. But when I don't get the result I want, I need to start looking for better resources. Because I am resourceful. I am gritty, which means I persevere until I get the result I want. And that's what growth is about. That's what society and innovation is about. And isn't that who we are? We're about advancing our lives and our culture. We can't do that by doing the best with what by doing the very best now. We do it by doing the best we can with the resources we have and getting even better resources along the way until we get the results I want. That's how we lift ourselves up and make everybody's lives better. So that's my thoughts on that. I'd love to hear yours. Please leave me some comments, shoot me some messages, and let me know what you think. If you want to learn how to take yourself to the next level, to learn how to be a lot more resourceful and resilient, those are two of the main things that I teach to all my clients. And if you want to learn more about what that looks like, just reach out at thecompassionatedad.com and you'll find out everything I have to offer and we can get started. This has been Brian King. We'll talk again soon.